here we are, episode 3. You've made it through episode 1, episode 2. I can trust that you've owned episode 1, you've owned episode 2, and now you're ready to kind of dabble in episode 3. All you're gonna need for this episode is a foam roller. What we'll do is we're gonna start similar to the other two, in that we're gonna work on some core first, alignment stuff first, because that's so important in our health of our entire body and our knees. But this time we're gonna be face down, and we're gonna do what we call an RKC plank from your knees. What I like to see is getting into this kind of sphinx position. Palms are down. My elbows are just behind my shoulders. My elbows are not in front of my shoulders. They're behind. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my knees and my elbows into the floor, driving my belly button away from the floor and tucking my butt under a little bit. And I wanna stay kind of tall here. So I don't wanna crunch in. I wanna be elongated through my spine and keep my tailbone tucked under, not necessarily rounding my back so much, okay? So there is a slight rounded curvature to my back, but in general, it's fairly straight and again, elongated. And the tailbone's tucked under. I wanna be able to feel like my abdominals are supporting me, my obliques are supporting me. I'm getting us a little bit of length in my hip flexors by tucking my butt under and again, staying long. I'm gonna breathe here, holding this position, and then I'm gonna focus on pulling my elbows and my knees just gently towards each other. So I'm not pushing them away from each other, I'm pulling them in towards each other gently enough to where I create a little bit more tension, but not so much tension that I have to start to distort my posture. So still staying nice and long, palms are down, pulling a little bit, breathing. You're gonna do that 30 seconds to start and work your way up to a full minute. After that exercise, we are going into our long bridge. And we've done this one in the previous episodes, but we're gonna work on a march now. So, I've got the foam roller kind of far away from me. I wanna feel like the ball of my feet or the front of my arches. I'm gonna reach up, ground myself to the floor, keep my spine to the floor as much as possible, and then curl my tailbone off. Once I get here, I'm gonna bring a knee up, bring the knee back, bring the knee up, bring the knee back. Now when it's easy is when I go back towards, it's easy to come crashing down onto that roller. I want you guys to try to resist that and go slow. All right, it's gonna be really hard on the leg that's staying down, all right, because all my weight is being shifted towards that leg. And you're gonna start here with a set of 12. Again, slow and control, really working on the control factor as we switch back and forth. Soft on the way down, smooth transitions, bringing the knee all the way back. What you're gonna progress to is working your way up slowly to 20 repetitions. And then the next progression is basically just floating one of your feet off, kind of like we've done in the past with the regular bridge march, where we're just popping the foot off. That's gonna be harder because the weight stays forward in that front leg. It's gonna be harder to just pop that leg off and hold it there than bringing it back and forward. So you're doing 12, work your way up to 20 of the first one, and then go back to 12 of the one that I just showed you where you're just popping the foot off, and then I'll work your way up to 20. This is one of those that you're gonna do 2 sets of, okay? After that, the third exercise, we're gonna work on a side plank. And we're gonna work on the side plank from the knee, which means that my back foot does not hit the ground. When I line up in my side plank for this exercise, I wanna have my elbow, my hip, and my top leg in line. My bottom knee is just slightly in front of my top knee. So my angle here at my hip is probably like 60 degrees. All right, I'm sorry, it's more than 60 degrees. If this is 90, it's more like 120. So like 120 degrees. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna push yourself up, and you're gonna hold yourself up here through your knee. You've gotta be pushing through the knee, not through the foot, not through the shin. Pushing through the knee so that I feel the bottom side glute and my bottom side obliques, okay? I wanna keep my zipper line and my sternum facing down just a little bit. Make sure they're not facing up. So just facing down a little bit. You're gonna hold this for 30 seconds to start on each side, and you're gonna work your way up to a minute. Once you've gotten to a minute, you're gonna go back to 30 seconds. Instead of holding it here, what you're gonna do is you're gonna come down, gently tap your hip, and then push your knee down into the floor, down and up, really slow for 30 seconds, and you should feel your butt working quite a bit. Again, that back foot does not touch the floor. You're gonna do that for 30 seconds on each side, work your way up to a minute, okay? Next exercise is a half kneeling, what I would call a knee drive. So I'm gonna be on one knee, and I'm gonna pull my knee forward over my toe. And I wanna use my hamstring to do that. And what that's gonna look like from the side. If you want, use something for balance so that you can stay upright. But like in the past, what we'll do is we'll get our hamstring on by pulling our heel in the back of our shoe. Once I've pulled the heel in the back of my shoe, I'm gonna keep it there, and I'm gonna take my hand, I'm gonna feel under it, feel my hamstring working. I'm consistently pulling my heel back. I'm gonna continue to pull it back, and instead of my heel going back, it's gonna pull my knee forward. So I have to feel my hamstring pulling my foot back. As I pull it back, I wanna press down into my heel. So I'm pushing down and pulling back at the same time, and I'm trying to get my knee as far forward as I can, maintaining those two things. You've got to focus on the pull and the press down. Okay, so we're keeping the tension out of the front of the knee by pulling the knee forward and pressing the heel down using our butt and our hamstrings. And you're going to hold that for about 5 to 10 seconds, then you'll back off. Same thing, you're gonna work your way forward, pressing down, 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 5 to 10 seconds, and back off. If you're only going 5 seconds, you're gonna do a set of 10 of them. If you're going 10 seconds, do a set of 5 of them, okay? So pulling, 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 and then you'll just switch the legs. You can alternate back and forth if you'd like. Do a few on one side, do a few on the other side, but ultimately pulling back and pressing down at the same time as far as you can go. If you can't hold that heel down into the ground, you have to stop, okay? If you can't keep pulling, you have to stop. So you've got to really have some discipline here to not go forward and push through your toes and use your quad, okay? Last exercise then, we're on our feet again for our toe taps, which last episode we did the toe taps, or the toe touches I should say, with support. You're gonna try to do them without the support, okay? So you're gonna have support sitting here waiting for you if you need it, but we're gonna work on our balance. This leg goes back, I'm gonna touch, I'm gonna come up, I wanna feel my entire foot, guys. All right, that means that if I'm avoiding the arch of my foot, I'm gonna have to try to feel the arch of my foot. As I go down, I wanna be able to feel not just the front of my foot, but I wanna feel my heel, okay? Touch and up. Nice and slow about this tempo. Do a set of 10 on one side, a set of 10 on the other. This you're doing 2 sets. 2 sets of 10 on each side. Also try to resist the urge to crinkle your toes. So when you're going down, make sure those toes are nice and long and relaxed. They don't have to be pulled up off of the floor. They are flat on the floor, but they're not crunched up and you don't have a ton of weight through them, right? So sit your butt back, chest stays up, touch, push your chest away from the floor. All the same stuff we were working on in the last episode. You're doing the same thing here. You're going to challenging yourself to not use support for balance, okay? That's it. That's the end of episode 3. Work through it just like I said. Keep focus. Make sure that you're really paying attention to how you're doing each exercise. You're feeling the things that I say you should be feeling, and you're doing them the way that I say you should be doing them, okay? It's very important that they're done this way. And if you have questions or things aren't working for you for whatever reason, please comment, direct message, whatever you got to do, get a hold of us, and I will walk you through it and make sure that you're getting what you need from it. Okay, that's it for episode 3. I will see you next time in episode 4.